everyone, this is Anne. It's another Break for 8 for Dementia Care Partners today. So thank you so much for joining me as we continue with what I like to call the Master, M-A-S-T-E-R series. So today we are going to focus on the A in Master, which stands for approach. And approach is actually a huge topic because essentially it's how we interact and walk alongside our person living with dementia. It's how we handle challenging situations, and in many ways it's how we keep the peace, right? And there are entire books written on this topic, but in this short time that I have with you today, let me just sum up some of my top 3 or so tips when it comes to approach or how we deal with things. The number one thing, communication. How we communicate with our person has to change if we're going to have positive interactions. And this is such a huge, communication is also such a huge topic, so I'll put some of my favorite resources in the comments section with you. But I think the number one thing to remember when it comes to communication is we need to slow down. We need to slow down to allow our person's brain to catch up to what is being said, to catch up to a question that you're asking them, to allow them time to express a thought, or really just to slow ourselves down so we become a little more patient with them and just allow them the time they need to answer our questions or to tell us something. And then another important thing when it comes to communication is to avoid correcting, arguing, rationalizing. And I know this takes a ton of self-control when we're exasperated. But, while a person may recognize their mistake, when you point it out to them in that moment, they're unlikely to remember this the next time around. And they're going to keep making that mistake over and over again. So just really correcting or arguing or trying to have them do something a different way or teaching them a new way, it's really just a waste of your time and energy in most places. So that's all I'm going to say about communication for today. So let's move on to the number 2 thing when it comes to approach. And that is when we come upon a situation where we're met with resistance or refusal to do something. A key thing to remember at these times is to just try to start thinking about what is the reason behind that response? What is causing them to respond this way? And this is where your knowledge about your person is so critical. So let's take the example of refusing to take a shower, which is really a common one when it comes to dementia. So when it comes to trying to convince them and explain why they need to take a shower and they're just not budging, right? So the best approach is just to figure out why. Are they getting really cold? Or are they self-conscious being naked in front of people? Or do they have some kind of past trauma in the past where they feel very, very vulnerable with another person in the shower with them? Or do they simply just not think they need one, right? Because they can't remember, they haven't bathed in a week or so. So once you determine the why, then you can start thinking about how to plan your approach to meet their need. So here's what I mean. If they're cold, it's pretty easy to heat up that bathroom, right? You just need, to strip down yourself maybe a little bit so you don't get overheated. Or, do they need to feel safe and less vulnerable? Would be being covered up with a towel or sort of a bathing gown, you can get those, would that help? Or maybe it's having a same-sex care provider in the bathroom with them that would make them feel a little more safe. Or in the case of just not thinking they need it, is there something that would motivate them based on what you know about them? Why would they want to get freshened up or spruced up in the past? Is it to, go to church or out for a fancy dinner, or maybe they're having lunch with their girlfriends? Or, are they going to be more agreeable to someone else's request over another? I had somebody's son have really good luck with his dad, getting him in the shower. Like, Dad, it's time to hit the showers. You stink, like kind of in a teasing sort of way than the wife. So that second point again, after communication, is just to remember when you're met with resistance, trying to understand why and trying to meet that person's need in the moment, even though it may not seem logical or rational to you. And the final thing I'd like to talk about today when it comes to approach is this, and you've probably heard this before. It's the importance of meeting your person, in their reality, in their moments, even when they are not making any sense or they're misunderstanding something, or maybe they're telling a story that's just not true. Because, the details are getting mixed up in their mind. We just go there with them. We may not understand what they're trying to say. And if this is the case, maybe they have kind of what we call word salad, where it's a little bit, words are being substituted with one another. Go with the emotion. What is the emotion that you're noticing? If they're angry, you agree with them, right? If they're sad, you provide comfort. Or if they're telling a story that's completely untrue, just go along with it. Maybe have some fun. Ask some questions, about their outing with a neighbor that never actually happened. Who cares, right? And the final thought I wanted to talk to you about really quickly is the use of distraction and redirection toward an activity that is meaningful to them. So, and I've talked about this before, and in one of my videos provided kind of a list to help you generate some ideas about what types of things may engage them a bit. So if we use distraction and redirection as an approach, we can often kind of steer them away from a difficult topic or maybe a dangerous situation. So super huge topic, and that's very, very brief, but approach is so important. And I think finally, I just wanted to say, give yourself a break. Finding the right approach to address a problem takes a lot of time and sometimes a lot of trial and error. And even though, even seasoned dementia specialists are going to have to pivot, right? So when something doesn't work once, when it doesn't hit a home run, we just need to pivot and try a different approach. And sometimes just learning what doesn't work kind of gives us more information that we can use later on in our dementia care. So the important thing is just to be flexible, stay curious, try new things, and when you need to, take a break, because this is all very tiring. That's why I do this meditation piece. So now it's time for that. Okay, so let's all just take a breath. I will too, and please get yourself comfortable. If you'd like to lay down, that's fine. If you want to sit up with your feet on the ground, that is okay too. And as you get comfortable, just please close your eyes and bring your attention to your breath. Take a deep, deep breath in and a long, slow breath out. Do this a few more times. Just breathe in relaxation. Breathe out tension. Let go of tension. Breathe in calmness. Breathe out letting go. Breathe in self-acceptance. out, letting go. Breathe in love. Breathe out, letting go. Breathe in safety. Breathe out, letting go. Breathe in strength. Breathe out, letting go. And now I'd like you to imagine yourself seated on a sunny hillside in the country. Hear the swish and rustle of prairie grasses moving in the wind all around you. Feel the warm sunlight on your back. Just sense the stillness and the safety of this quiet place. Just relax on this sunny country hillside a little longer. Just allowing the sun to melt away any tension in your shoulders and on your back and in your neck. Many of the things we encounter during dementia care require a peaceful approach, and that starts within ourselves. So just take a few more breaths here. And on the exhale, please let go of any last bit of tension or worry or frustration that you're holding on to. If you can, spend a little more time here in this quiet, golden space you've created. And I'll let the music play a little longer. I'll see you next time. You've got this.